Conference. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
As the nation seeks answers, SAFM brings you live, uninterrupted coverage of Parliament's Ad Hoc Committee investigating allegations made by KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Commissioner, Lieutenant General Madlanga Mkhwanazi. You can also stay up to date with the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into criminality, political interference, and corruption in the criminal justice system. Stay informed, stay connected. Tune in live on SAFM 104 to 107 and follow the coverage across our digital platforms live on Facebook, X, and YouTube at SAFM Radio. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Eskom is upgrading old electricity meters with modern smart meters, giving you clarity, control, and confidence. With your new meter, you'll be able to see your usage in real time, giving you the power to manage your electricity with ease. Smart meters are accurate and help Eskom respond faster to issues. Please allow their authorized installers access to install your new meter. For more information, visit the Eskom website. Eskom, redefining for a better future.
The Talking Point on SAFM, weekdays 9 a.m. till midday.
Criminalize all forms of bribery, whether the bribery takes the form of a bag of rice, whether it takes the form of cash, whether it takes the form of food which is offered. Easier said than done, but it is being done in other countries. Why do we in Africa think that things must be easy? Nothing is easy. When you want good things, you must work for them. So let us not say that because it has been happening. For how long has it been happening? It has been happening for a very short time. So if you criminalize and punish people, part of the problem in Africa is impunity. People kill without consequence. People maim without consequence. People loot without consequence. The day we begin to punish people, that is the day people will begin to know that if you do the wrong thing, then you spend time in Luzira.
That's Professor Patrick Lumumba, a very distinct voice, that the Kenyan academic. I love the line, the first line, criminalize all forms of bribery. With that, welcome to the Talking Point. It's Thursday, the 12th of February, 2026, notably the day of the State of the Nation Address. We are SAFM leading the conversations that move us, including the sauna that will cover from wall to wall when it does happen later on. Our studio numbers 086 000 2032, the SMS line 41391. That SMS will come to you at around 50 on WhatsApp. Get us on 061 410 4107. On X, we are at SAFM Radio, and please hashtag SAFM Talking Point whenever you want to talk to us. My name is Khomozo KG Mwekezi. I'm in for Kathy Mutlatlana. And coming up on the program today, we're going to open the lines for you between now and 9:30, and we can talk about anything. I'll tell you about the thing that has upset me a lot in a short while. The Madlanga Commission is going to continue with testimony from the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, IPID. Yesterday on Wednesday, the Commission heard from acting head of IPID, Thuso Kifelakai, who made an appeal to commissioners to look into the city of Ekurhulene's failure to implement recommendations contained in their, meaning IPID's report, which was scathing, pointing to allegations of criminality against suspended Ekurhulene Deputy Metro Police Chief Julius Mkhwanazi. This morning, Nomsa Masugu, senior investigator at IPID, will continue her testimony. And a quick note to you, because of the State of the Nation address, Parliament's Ad Hoc Committee will not be sitting today. It's still, of course, sitting as soon as, the sauna is out of the way. But today it is is not sitting at all. So what we will be covering on the show will only be the Madlanga Commission. Water. Hey, is what I want to talk about. Water. What? You know, at the National Broadcaster, which is where I work, yesterday you should have smelled the stench at the reception area as you're walking in, because the toilets are not toileting properly because there's no water. You know, it's the National Broadcaster. I'm not talking about little me. But then during the course of the day, there's a press briefing on water and infrastructure issues, notwithstanding the fact that these infrastructure issues that they're saying will cost 400 billion rand to fix. We didn't just get here because it's Wednesday or Thursday. It didn't just go poof. The infrastructure's messed up. 31 years they've had to maintain the water infrastructure. For us to get told they need 400 billion rand right now essentially means it's them who did not maintain the infrastructure. And then, and I know Premier Lesufi, I know you issued an apology, but I, Khomotso Moeketsi, citizen of Johannesburg and citizen of Gauteng, I don't accept your apology. Because Premier Lesufi himself, the mayor of Johannesburg, Dada Morero, the water minister, Pemi Majodina, her deputy, they all sat there in a press conference, and Lesufi had I'll spell it because I don't want to end up at the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, GALL, to say to us, it affects him too. That's why he has to go to a hotel and take a shower there. How nice. How nice that you can afford to. How nice that you can afford, because you can't just be walking into the hotel to go and take a shower. At least you're paying, probably if it's 4 or 5 star here in Johannesburg, about 2.4 to use that room to go take a shower. Guess how many people do not even make 2,400 rands a month? Huh? And you say you apologize. They tend to do that, and they think that their apologies will sanitize them. But for me, that's why I said I'm upset. For me, what it reminds me of is how out of touch they are with us. And it's not just him, right? It's not just him who says, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say this, social disparities. It's almost like their lived experience is very far removed from our lived experience, and there's no point at which they meet. How many times have you heard the President of the Republic say, I'm shocked, I'm surprised. Like, where do you live? How come you don't know? You're the leader. You should know everything, corner to corner, wall to wall. So, Lesufi, no, I don't accept your apology. What it reflects is the fact that you are completely out of touch with the people of Gauteng, where you're the leader, and you have options. Unlike them, because your apology doesn't change the fact that you probably went again today, that's if you have no water in your house, to go and take a shower at a 4 or 5 star hotel with your security detail. Nice, hey? So no, they should have fixed the infrastructure. They cannot come and tell us now that we need to fork out 400 billion. I'm not even going to start about what will happen to that 400 billion. Because we all know it's the South African way. 086 000 2032, 086 000 2032. I had to vent my water issues, and I know that in every corner of the country people are having water issues, right? And I had to talk about this because of the press briefing that happened yesterday. And I know subsequently he's issued an apology, but I have the right as a citizen, okay, to say I don't accept your apology. I do not accept it. Okay? 086 000 2032, the SMS line 41391. All I wish for is just leaders who understand the people that they lead and their lived experiences. And I know they get paid well, so they can afford certain things that we can afford. But the least they can do is be in touch with us to know our dynamics. 086 000 2032. You're probably going to talk about the sauna and what it is that you expect if you're a citizen of Gauteng, whatever you want to talk about. Kirk in Cape Town, you want to talk about Paul O'Sullivan's testimony. You say he really pulled the wool over our eyes. Hi, Kirk. Kirk.
Sullivan, can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear
Hi
you.
there.
Hi.
Before I talk about Paul O'Sullivan, I want to mention my son-in-law who lives and my daughter who live next to a fire station in Sandton and are extracting water from a JoJo tank because there is no water 2 and 3 times a month. So I hear your pain, my sister. I hear your pain.
We shouldn't be going through it, especially considering water, basic human right. Water, and they're opening themselves up for a class action if they're not careful, because water is a basic human right.
And Lesotho is too busy opening the way for his presidential ambitions.
Yeah, because most of them are populists. All they want is just to be popular and get a clickbait or a popularity for 24 hours, and they think they've turned it around. No.
Correct. No, it's ludicrous. Ludicrous. But on to Glenn Egliotti. The man has fooled the security apparatus of South Africa. Mm-hmm. Another matriculant, and there's nothing wrong with matriculants, but another matriculant who has wormed his way into another form of state capture, where he has the ear of ministers and people within very high positions within state security that he's advising, and there is no vetting of these people's associations, as we've seen in the Madlanga Commission as well as the ad hoc committee. Mm-hmm. It is a free-for-all within the security apparatus, and
especially if you're connected. Especially if you're connected.
Exactly. And post-1994, we were a breeding ground for the world's opportunists. There's many names we can mention. Radhavan Krecha, the Guptas, this man, Paul O'Sullivan. They came here and
it's been going on for a long time. It's been going on for a long time.
And it's unchecked because nobody actually cares, because as long as we are improving our own lives, the lives of our families, the lives of our cadres or cadres, then it will be free for all. Yeah. And I am sad that it is, but we have to call it as we see it.
Yeah. Thank you, Kirk. I have to go to a commercial break. Dwaisa, I'll come back with you. Sydney in Acornhoek, I'll come back with you as well. Remember, we've got 10 minutes, so let's make the best of them. It's 9:20.
Every day, Randwater's underground pipelines run through servitudes across the country, carrying millions of litres of water to our communities. But when people build too close, it's called encroachment, and it's very dangerous. If a pipeline bursts, it can flood homes, destroy property, and in many cases, people lose their lives. That's why Randwater marks its servitudes with blue and white beacons, a clear warning to stay clear and safe. When we protect Randwater's servitudes, we protect our communities too. Randwater, finding new ways.
When it comes to professional productions, quality, precision, and reliability matter. That's where SABC technology comes in. From live events and pre-recorded shows to streamed content across your social media channels, we provide seamless, high-quality production that meets your vision and your budget. Need editing, final audio mix, or graphics? Our post-production experts use cutting-edge technology to bring your story to life. Looking for radio or television outside broadcast support, studio or auditorium usage that's fully equipped and ready for your big idea? SABC Technology has the infrastructure, the expertise, and the passion to make it happen. SABC Technology, your trusted service provider. Contact us today at bookings@sabcfacilities.co.za. SABC, for everyone, for everywhere, always.
South Africa's leading fuel company, Engen, part of the Vivo Energy Group, will be at the Investing in African Mining Indaba, showcasing how partnership and technology are reshaping modern mining, from secure fuel and lubricant supply to AI-enabled equipment monitoring and predictive maintenance. Engen and Vivo Energy are helping mining operations improve uptime, manage costs, and build long-term resilience. Visit the Engen and Vivo Energy stand Q38 at the Mining Indaba 2026, where smarter mining meets stronger partnerships, because mines are always moving, we're always moving.
Call us on 086 000 2032.
9:23. Let's go back to the open line, 086 000 2032. Hi, Dwaisa Molo.
Good morning, Mono KG, and morning to the SAFM listeners. Quickly, because of time, as you've just said. Firstly, issue of water. You know, the issue of water, this KG is a good example of the government who has failed its people. I live in KZN, lower south coast of KZN, under Oakwood District Municipality, who has failed for the past 15 years to provide running water in various areas. Fortunately, we are in rural areas. I had to fight for a borehole, which, as we speak today, we are surviving on that borehole. And quickly go to Paul O'Sullivan, which I called for today. You know, there's nothing painful to KG as a person who insults your intelligence. This guy is insulting us as a nation.
Sure.
There's just no way, this KG, that someone from a foreign country, a foreign male, white male for that matter, will be interested in becoming a citizen of our country and to learn a way of life and all that out of goodwill. And remember, in those days, it was around 80s. Those were heydays of apartheid, and he was not involved in the apartheid machinery, and he was also not involved in the progressive forces. He's not telling us the truth.
Of course.
I think in conclusion, all that he did, he identified a loophole and decided to infiltrate the state machinery for the aim of that, which he achieved until today, was to make lots of money, if not millions, and live.
Did you see how well he lives? Did you see that house of his? They say he's selling it, but he's a guy who lives very well.
He also owns an aircraft. Where did he get that money in South Africa?
How many people who don't have any kind of qualification in South Africa even have a job?
He was a group, a big position, actually employed by AXA. In fact, he was headhunted. That's what he's telling us, among other things. Oh man, poor us.
But for me, we must never forget that he's been enabled by whoever it is he's connected to.
Exactly.
And that for me is the bigger story.
There's something big behind this, but time will tell. There's something very, very big behind this.
Yeah, and I don't think it's something we can get clearly from the ad hoc committee, because as somebody described it, sometimes you can see political parties there just defending their political agenda, unfortunately.
And you can see, one thing I've noticed in closing, he never imagined in his wildest dream that one day he will account for his actions.
Yeah.
And you can see he's pissed off. If he has his own way,
Bad language, but yes.
Just stand and walk away from that ad hoc committee. Simple.
Yeah. Look, Dwaisa, thank you. I mean, you've nailed it. Thanks. Sydney in Acornhoek, hi.
Hi, this is KG, my sister Kumuto.
Hi.
I'm fine, my sister Sydney.
How are you?
I'm fine, my sister, in Acornhoek, which part my sister.
Have you got water?
Yeah, sporadically. Sporadically, my sister.
The South African way.
Sporadically. Let us hope things will get better in years to come. God will change the situation.
Oh, no, we give it to God.
What McDonald said in the morning, I believed in her. I believed in her when she said one day God will answer
The
us
same God who gives us the water and we mess up
Definitely.
the infrastructure. Okay.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
But with corruption, if you go deep, there's lots of corruption inside. And ignorance. Yes. My sister KG.
Yeah.
May I'm listening
Those
in
are
a school
she's-
library.
yeah.
I'm in a school library. Yeah. May the lawmakers or the IEC itself view this one. I've been thinking of this quite some time. The power of a ward, particular ward, shouldn't be in totality vested in a particular councillor. It should be in the totality of a political party. Because if the way it is now, if it's vested in the hands of a councillor, that promotes corruption. Another party, if they've made their own decision and believe they can win that particular party, they can corrupt that councillor and say, let's give you $500,000 and withdraw and resign so that we can have by-elections. That can be done. Or if a particular party believes they can win this with this one, they can kill that person. As we have a problem in South Africa of political killing, they can kill that person so that the vacancy must be there, so that there must be by-elections again. So I suggest lawmakers or IEC give the totality of the ward to a political that political party that has won the ward up until the next cycle of the election, so that if that particular councillor chooses to resign, it is his own peril. He leaves, but the party, the ward still remains in the hands of that particular party, which he was in charge with. But when I resign, then we have to have by-elections. It means the local, the ward elections are totally in their hands. They own it. The councillors, it is mine. If I can choose to draw tomorrow, then there will be by-elections. Where do we get that money? It means a particular ward can hold by-elections maybe 5 times or 10 times. In a space of 3 months. I don't know how they do that. But if a particular party wins that ward, it should be in their hands till the next elections.
Okay.
If the councillor chooses to resign, you resign. But we forward
Sydney.
another councillor of the same political party.
Okay, Sydney. I have to go to the news headlines now. Thank you for your call. It's 9:30. It's time for the news headlines.
Good morning. Thanks, KG. In the headlines, a dairy farm in Mossel Bay in the Western Cape has been put under quarantine following confirmation cattle there tested positive for foot and mouth disease. Residents in the south of Johannesburg near Ridgeway are calling for President Cyril Ramaphosa's urgent intervention towards persistent ongoing water outages in the area. This ahead of his State of the Nation address later today. And the United States Attorney General has clashed with members of a congressional panel over her department's handling of millions of documents related to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. For SAFM News, I am Anne Musa.
Wait till you hear how much money OutSurance saves 30-year-old Dineo on her car insurance.
I'm saving 1,094 rands.
That's an incredible monthly saving of 1,094 rand on Dineo's 2025 Kia Sonet. SMS out to 30754. Here's 63-year-old Almero.
We do save 417 Rand. That's about 5,000 Rand a year.
That's an awesome saving on Almero's 2021 Ford Ranger. Get a quote now. SMS out to 30754. With OutSurance, after 3 claim-free years, you get an out bonus.
Can't wait for that. A little bit of cash for a girl to have a little bit of fun, eh?
Always getting something out. You also get 5 million Rand third-party liability cover, covering damage to the other person's vehicle in an accident. How much could OutSurance save you? Get a quote now. SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
The Sea Robbers are on a real mission to go back to their days of happy people. But Bahlabane Bantwa say they are only going to Orlando Stadium to collect 3 points. This is the Betway Premiership. Lisekazini forever. Catch Orlando Pirates versus Marumo Cannons this Saturday, 14 February at 2:30 p.m. live on SABC Plus and SABC One. Then at 3:30 p.m. on SABC radio stations. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
As we celebrate 90 years of existence, SAFM takes you back to the voices that shaped a nation.
Berea, the home of the four bespectacled Tisson brothers, all of whom work or have worked on the English service, particularly Audio Mix and Radio Today. Watch how the night proceeds towards dawn.
And
I need a lot of consoling when I started the early program. People couldn't believe that John O'Donnell and B. Reid were chosen for the early morning program, because if ever two announcers used to want to swap a morning shift for an afternoon shift, John and I would do it.
90 years of trusted voices. This is SAFM.
If you love live music in beautiful spaces, Symphony by the Water is one to diarize. It takes place at the Midmar Dam on Saturday, the 7th of March 2025, featuring the KZN Philharmonic Orchestra with an incredible lineup of South African artists. Tickets are available now at web tickets, at Pick and Pay, and exhibition and stall spaces are also available at 600 Rand. And for more info, you can follow Symphony Waters on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
BVB's current mission is to stay close to the log leaders and win every match in the second round of the league. Meanwhile, the Carnival Club is eager to reveal their secret plan on match day. This is the Bundesliga, football as it's meant to be. Catch Borussia Dortmund versus FSV Mainz on Friday, 13 February at 9:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC Sport on TTT Channel 4. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
The Egyptian Giants face a massive test to prove why they are known as the conquerors of foreigners. But Amakosi have one mission only: 3 points as a valid.
Yes, there was a witness, but the witness that I've never met before, because it's just a statement that is there, but that person, I've never met him, and no one knows where he is now. But I must now have my own investigation to get evidence that will pin these police officers to this crime scene. That is when now I started doing my own. I got the coordinates because I had to ask the family to show me, to say exactly where were these cars parked. Then they showed me. I had to get the coordinates of that area and send them. There's a specialist that deals with the SAPS cars to get the trackers, but they don't call them trackers. It's called automatic vehicle location. We call it AVL in abbreviation. It's very accurate. That is what that helped me to track. It tracked a few cars that were around the vicinity, but I had to eliminate, because now I must be careful. I cannot take any other car that comes there and say these people were here. I must go back to the statements and listen to the allegations of the witness that was there, even though I haven't personally interviewed, to check as to, okay, they arrived at this address at this period. Around about this time, they were gone. So that means they spent plus minus so many hours. Then on my AVL, the tracker reports that I'm having now, because I've got a lot of cars, I must check the cars that managed to stand still in that place. Even if the car was idling, but as long as it was standing there, it's okay. I managed to find only one car that was standing still. The other cars were just passing. None of the cars were standing there. Only one car that I managed to pick up. But I was not disappointed. I was happy to say at least I can manage to pick one car that was there. I know the officers doesn't drive alone. You must have somebody, a crew that you drive with. There are operation procedures to say they are never allowed to drive alone. So I know that if I get one car, at least maybe I will be having 2 officers, if not 4. Then I had to track as to where does this car belongs to. The same system of AVL, they will manage to give you information to say this car belongs to this station, even though that cannot be accurate because it can be given on the system to this station, but only to find that it has been moved to another station. But luckily, this car was still at the same station, which is Brakpan, SAPS.
You are now at your paragraph 33, still at page 9.
Essie, can you repeat for me again?
Paragraph 33.
Okay, yes. Yeah. I managed to identify one police vehicle at the deceased home on the 14th to the 15th of April 2022, and it had the following particulars that are written and mentioned here, which was a BMW 3 Series.
By 14 and 15, are you referring to the late night of the 14th and early morning of the 15th?
Yes, yes, commissioners. The police car I traced to be at the deceased house on the day in question was from Brakpan police station and had been parked at the deceased address for more than 2 hours. This confirmed the suspicion by the family that the police officers were at the deceased home when he was reported missing. Unfortunately, the Metropolitan Police vehicles are not fitted with the AVL system, and I was unable to track the presence of the EMPD vehicles on the deceased home.
Did you take any steps to establish who the driver of this 3 Series BMW was?
Yes, Commissioner, I did. Yes, I did, but I will get there.
Oh,
yes,
right.
I did.
Maybe I've forgotten. I don't remember seeing that in your statement, but I'll leave it if you say you are getting there. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioners, all right, let me respond to that.
No, deal with it when you get there.
Okay, all right, Commissioners.
If I may, perhaps best she does, because the chair is correct. She doesn't specifically, in the statement, then tie a specific policeman to this vehicle. Maybe she should. She does so based on a warning statement from the suspect himself. So perhaps for record purposes, it's appropriate that she does so at this juncture. You may identify the police person or the policeman associated with this vehicle. Thanks.
Okay, Commissioners, the driver of the vehicle, it was driven by Alexandra Fritz. The one yesterday I said had visited the mom's, the deceased place later after the deceased was the body was recovered. So I managed to find that this car was driven by him as a reservist, but he was driving alone. He didn't have a crew with him. Yes.
Ms. Masuku, where you say the municipal police vehicles are not fitted with AVL system, is it you checked and that's what you were told, that their fleet doesn't have AVL systems or specific vehicles that, they don't have tracking system, whatever it's called, a tracking system, or you're referring to the specific vehicles that would have been on the scene, you couldn't pick them up?
Okay, Commissioners, in general, South African Police Services cars, they've got that systems, they are fitted with that system. But you will find that other cars within the SAPS, maybe the system got broken, then they don't fix it. Even we know that the other cars, the members, they will fit with the system. But for those that the system is still working, we do manage to track those cars. But for the Metropolitan Services cars, we have a problem because they are not contracted to that system. They use their own tracker. I don't know what tracker is it. So whenever you go there to their officers personally, they will tell you that, no, our cars doesn't have trackers. So there is nothing we can do about that. Hence, it becomes very difficult for us if an incident has been reported and then this person is saying, I was attacked by these police officers in uniform driving a police car. I don't know them. I didn't manage to take registration. I don't have anything. So for us, it becomes very difficult to say, who are we going to say it's these officers, because we cannot be able to track this car, not unless if there are cameras within the area, then we make use of that. So, Commissioner, I'm not sure if I'm answering you because of the SAPS cars, yes, it's easy to track. That is why we managed to track this one on the scene, even though I don't believe there was only one car at that scene, but we managed to track one. At least we had a starting point. And then for the EMPD, we couldn't track anything from their side.
Thank you.
And if I may perhaps follow up on that to clarify, you state in your statement that unfortunately you could not establish the presence of EMPD vehicles on the day because they don't have this system. Is this an issue that applies to all metropolitan police services across the country, or is it only limited to EMPD, to your knowledge?
I want to respond on behalf of other metropolitan areas like Tshwane, like Johannesburg, because I don't deal with them that much. I don't know in my office as to they do encounter such problem, but for Ekurhuleni, that is what is happening.
Okay, we can always confirm through other means. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
We'll establish that, yeah.
Yes, Commissioner.
Ms. Masuku, do they have a system? I'm talking about Ekurhuleni now, not SAPS. Do they have a system that you can tap into to find out which EMPD police vehicles were at the scene? A system other than what SAPS uses? Or do the Metro Police not have a system at all to track their vehicles?
No, they don't have that kind of a system, Commissioner. What they have is just a normal tracker like my own private car. Yes, so now if I need help from them, that means I must provide them with the registration number to say, I'm looking for this car, give me the records of this car. But I cannot go to them and say, this is what happened here, tell me which cars were here. They can't do that.
Thank you. You may proceed. We are now at your page 10 from paragraph 34.
Between July and August 2022, my colleague informed me that he received a call from the captain who's a member of DPCI, commonly known as the Hawks, who had informed him that there was a man who witnessed an individual being killed by Prakpan police and wanted to come forward to give me the information. I then communicated with the captain as well and informed him that I am investigating a case which has similar facts, and I requested that he assist in arranging the meeting with that individual. We arranged a date for meeting to meet at the Glen Shopping Mall in Alberton. It was a team of 4 members from IPIT during that meeting. On the day of the meeting, the unknown witness arrived with the members from DPCI. One DPCI member was later known to us as Constable Kalinski. Commissioners, I'm mentioning him because witness did mention his name. And we did not see other colleagues that he was with because we were communicating with him only. The witness identified himself as Marius van der Merwe. Shortly after his arrival, we were alerted by Constable Kalinski that it was not safe to proceed with the interview as there was an activity that made them feel that they were followed. We concluded the interview and immediately left that place for our own safety. Commissioner, that means on that day, when we were leaving the office, I'm using my private car for work that is registered on my name and my own address. So for me, whenever working, it's risky because if they got the registration number of my car, they've got my home address. On the day before we left the office, we were alerted because we were communicating with this member, Kalinski. I was communicating with him, And then he alerted me to say, it will be safe for me not to use my car, maybe jump onto the other car. But it was too late for that because the policy doesn't allow me to jump into the government car. I must have approval for that. I had to use my own car. We drove there with my colleagues who were driving in the other car. We got there, we seated, and then they arrived. Okay, Marius introduced himself. They handed us, Kalinski handed me a handwritten statement of Marius, signed but not commissioned. I couldn't go through it at that period because Marius was here. I was waiting to say we will be interviewing him as a team. As we were just introducing ourselves, Kalinski came back to warn us to say we must not continue because there was some activity, we must leave immediately. So we had to leave. Then on that day, the meeting didn't succeed. But I was already having this handwritten statement that I later went through it.
Please continue.
Okay. We tried to arrange more meetings with Marius, but this proved to be difficult as he constantly felt unsafe and was worried about being followed. We ended up agreeing to meet at Pretoria IP head offices as it was far from Brakpan and would limit the risk of being traced around Johannesburg. Marius traveled with one of my team members. On the 30th of on the 30th of September 2022, which was the date of the meeting, we informed our National Executive Director's office to say we'll be utilizing their boardroom for the meeting because we'll be interviewing a witness that was involved in the crime that was committed by the police officers. The relevant arrangements were made and the meeting carried out at one of the boardrooms in head office. At the meeting, it was myself and the team. The meeting started. Before the meeting could start, I informed Marius of his constitutional rights according to Section 35. I further explained to him that by relating his version of events in a commission of a crime, he is doing it out of his own free will. I further explained to him that for him coming out with information that he alleges he witnessed the commission of the crime in his presence will not immune him from being a suspect that can be later arrested and charged for the same crime. He admitted that he understands and he wishes to proceed with the statement, and he wants to give statement under oath, and the interview continued. Commissioner, so as not to compromise this case, I will not divulge the full details of the incident because it's not yet in court. This case is still under investigation with no formal charges against any of the suspects. During the meeting, he told us about an incident which occurred on 14 April 2022 at around 9, wherein an unknown African male was murdered by police officers and another male was murdered by police officers and another male known to him. He later dumped his body at Spaarwater Dam. On this paragraph, Marius explained as to how this crime was committed, as he was explaining to the commission. But some few facts that he never mentioned to us that came out here. He related the series of events as to how did it came that the deceased was tortured there until he lost his life. But when he was relating to me, he was relating as if he was trying to talk to these officers, including this one male, because according to him, it was 2 police officers and 1 white male that were busy with the deceased, torturing him. Himself, he was there to talk to this suspect, busy asking him, begging him to say, please tell us, where did you take the goods to? Every now and then he will talk to this white male who was suffocating the deceased, saying, please don't forget that we are here looking for goods. He must tell us where are the goods. So he was coming out to us as if he didn't play part in the torturing of the deceased, but he witnessed it.
We are now at your paragraph 44.
Marius provided the details of the incident in his statement that he later went through it in the presence of the team. He confirmed that the statement was true reflection of what he has related, and he placed his signature in our presence and dated the 30th of September 2022, where it was obtained.
Can I just ask a question, Ms. Ugo? Was this statement now consistent with the earlier handwritten statement? Remember, around April, you had met him somewhere where, because it was not safe, you couldn't interview him. But on that date, you took possession of a handwritten statement that was not commissioned. Now, the later statement, was it consistent with the earlier one?
Yes, Commissioners, it was, even though the wording, it's a few things that differs, but it was still consistent with what he was relating to us.
The substance was the same?
Yes, it was, Commissioner.
Before you proceed, Ms. Masuku, Commissioner Kumalo, I think just to correct something, her testimony is that the handwritten statement, I think, was obtained between July and August, as she states, at paragraph 34. You said April. Just to correct that, thank you. And Ms. Masuku, you, on that paragraph, you then introduce an annexure, you mark NPM 13, and you say it's a copy of Mr. van der Merwe's statement. Please pull out your annexure bundle. It's Masuku annexures. And that particular document you have marked NPM 3 starts at your NPM 3, let me say, starts at page 7 of that bundle.
Okay, I'm there, Commissioners.
Now, I see it starts off with this statement, Marius van der Merwe states under oath in English, and then it proceeds. I want to refer you to the last page, at page 10. You had indicated that the earlier handwritten statement was not commissioned. And looking at this statement and what you stated, paragraph 44, is this the commission statement that then Mr. van der Merwe officially gave to you?
That's correct, Commissioners.
Thank you. Is there anything in particular in this statement, without, of course, divulging all its full details, that you would like to highlight? Or you may do so later if you so choose.
Okay, Commissioners, even though I will highlight that later, but what I can say now is maybe the question might come because this case has been out ever since this Commission of Inquiry started. A lot of inquiries were received to my office, and mostly they will be relating to say, if Marius came out that earlier, which is 2022, that's long ago, why were these other suspects not arrested? Because Marius did mention them in a commission of that crime. I will get to that because Marius gave statement under oath. And when he was giving the statement, as I explained to say, I read him his rights so that he understands as to where is he putting himself to. There is no promise that as an investigating officer I can make to say, later you will be a state witness under Section 204 as it has been mentioned. On the day when I took down his statement, I never mentioned that. Hence, I explained to him to say, whatever that you're saying now, you may later be charged together with these other people. You are not immune to the commission of that crime. On the 22nd of November 2022, the crime scene was reconstructed. Mr. Marius van der Merwe was guiding and pointing out the crime scene to the investigator. The crime scene reconstruction photos were taken by a photographer from the Springs Local Criminal Record Center, who later compiled the photo album regarding that. The photo album is attached on the case docket. Now, the reason for reconstruction of the scene, we had now to do the whole investigation, even though sometimes we'll be reversing back. That is why yesterday I was saying if this matter had been reported on time to IPID, it was going to save time to finalize our investigation. But now, because we have to do things later, I had to make sure to say, I must close the gaps.
Sorry, can you please explain that? You said it yesterday as well. The reality is that you got to know of this I shouldn't even say the very following day, because this was 14 and 15. So you got to know of it during the day on the 15th. So yes, the police attended to the crime scene and you were not involved, but still, it's the very same day, as it were, or part of the day or days on which this occurred. It's the 15th, the very following day, or the same day, because, as I say, part of it is the 15th. Can you explain this loss of time? Because you say, had you been notified earlier, the investigation would have been finalized much, much earlier. Loss of time is quite minimal. Can you explain this?
Commissioner, I think maybe if I did mention it like that, but I don't remember because that's not the sequence of events. I get to know about the case after the deceased was buried. It was weeks later after the incident, not on the 15th. It's the police who got to know on the 15th of April, not my office.
And if perhaps I may assist the commissioners, she started paragraph 16, which is how she became aware of the incident. There's no specific date granted given there, but it's the month. And then she just explained the circumstances.
Oh, all right. I guess I got confused. My apologies.
No problem.
I thought you also got to hear about it on the 15th.
Yes, it's the SAPS.
The day, the fishermen's day, as it were.
Yes, Commissioner. It was the fishermen and the SAPS because they recovered the body. So they knew it. That is why I'm saying they knew earlier. It was just hours after it happened.
Are you able to tell then after how long it was when you got to know from the 15th?
Commissioner, I can estimate, because it was after the funeral, I will say 2 weeks later. It was after he was buried, because when I was talking to them, they were saying, no, we buried him. So then me visiting them, maybe it was towards end of April, beginning of May. But unfortunately, I don't have the exact date. Yes.
Can you, okay, fine, now I have the correct facts, but can you still explain, would it have been a matter of weeks? Was it more than a month? Are you not able to tell? But if you are able to tell and say it was a matter of weeks, I will still go back to my question. And I just want to understand the loss of time that resulted in the investigation taking as much as it did, taking as long as it did.
Commissioner, let me estimate at plus minus 3 weeks after the death. Yes. So going back to the Commissioner's question to say, was it time lost if I got it after 2 or 3 weeks? Yes. Even if I got it after 2 days, there was already time lost. Because for me, I need to be at that scene before the body can be collected. I need to be able to investigate whatever that might help me on that scene before the scene is being contaminated. So for me, if I get it after 2 days, it's too late for me. The investigation will go like this case now. But for the case that I was there, when the body was still there, I found it cordoned off, I took over the crime scene, the investigation, the time becomes lesser because I know from onset as to this is what transpired at the scene, these are the exhibits I got from the scene. But now here, I had to recreate the evidence on this matter. That is the reason I'm saying it was too late. Even if it was a day or two, as long as the scene was no longer there, it was too late.
Thank you.
If perhaps, and for clarity, I may follow up on that and retrace very briefly your steps from yesterday's testimony. You testified yesterday about the matter initially being registered as an inquest at the Duduza police station. My question, as an inquest, would you have authority to investigate it as IPID?
Commissioners, yes. We do have cases at IPT that come registered as inquest.
Yes.
Like, for an example, most of the cases when there was a shootout between the suspects and the police, and then there is evidence that really this deceased person was shooting at the police. The SAPS doesn't register murder against the police. They will register an inquest case. Even though we're investigating it, but it will be registered on case as inquest. But we will take over the investigation to take it to the decision Then if it goes to NPA, then they turn it to say, no, somebody must be charged. We go back to the station to say, we are changing this case from inquest to murder because we are charging criminally. Yes, we do investigate inquest. If there was still involvement of the police in this, but the death was not determined, maybe the doctor is saying, because there are no injuries. For an example, let's say he was tortured. Okay, I think for the commissioners, it's very important to explain those. As if we go back to Marius van der Merwe's version, he was not assaulted, he was tortured. So possibly he was not sustained injury that we can see, the visible injury, and died through suffocation. The police found him, he doesn't have injuries. He goes to the mortuary, postmortem is done. The doctor says, I can't determine anything here. Then the doctor says natural causes. But still, because there is a witness that is saying there were police officers when he went missing here, I was going to still investigate it so that we can exonerate the police officers to the family to say, yes, they were there, but they didn't kill him. This is the proof as to how did it came about that he was found dead here. Then after that investigation has been done, then we take the docket back to the SAPS.
Okay, thank you for that question, because that, I think, goes in large part to the question the chair posed to you. If you refer to your paragraph 20 at page 6, that's when you traced the case to Duduza police station, and you attached a document there marked NPM1, and then it was an inquest. You recall that, you testified to that. At your page 6, paragraph 20.
Okay.
Now, overleaf at page 7, at paragraph 23, you then introduce the post-mortem report, which you have marked NPM1 Roman 1. We looked at that post-mortem report yesterday, and it's dated the 9th of May, 2022. It is only later at paragraph 25 where you succeed in converting the inquest inquiry into a murder charge registered at Brakpan.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Based on the answer that you just gave, why is it then you did not start with your investigations either when you became aware of the inquest itself, registered inquest, alternatively as at the 9th of May 2022, or shortly thereafter, after you received the post-mortem report? On the statement, you make it sound like you could only begin after the conversion to a murder case. Perhaps we misunderstood you and you might want to correct us. Thank you.
Okay. The reason I couldn't take over the investigation immediately to say it's IPID's investigation, I had to prove the involvement of the police officers. I have to be sure that indeed the police officers were there. Let's say if I had personally interviewed the witness and confirmed to me to say there were police officers here, I was going to immediately take over the investigation of that matter. But because I haven't found this witness, then I must check the death as to how did he die then? Because if he died of unnatural cause, still the police must answer to that. So after the conversion of the charge from inquest to murder, then that is when I fully took over the investigation. I'm not sure if I'm responding correctly to you.
Well, the commissioners are nodding, most importantly.
I'm not sure, commissioners, if it's cleared. I'm trying to clear it. I'm not sure if it makes sense.
Ms. Sillo, just for our records, I think from second sentence of paragraph 2 of 20, sorry, it's a lot clearer there, because she says, I could not transfer the case docket to IPID because I was still conducting the preliminary investigation to ascertain if there were indeed involvement of police officers. An inquest docket traditionally contains a statement.
And that's what she testified to yesterday. So the commissioners are clarified. Thank you, Ms. Masuku.
Thanks, commissioners.
Then we try and find our place again. We are now at page 12. We were dealing with Mr. Van der Merwe's statement, which is your NPM 3, which was commissioned on the 30th of September 2022. You recall that's where we were at?
Yes.
You had said that you wanted to highlight some aspects from that statement at this moment, although you'll return to it. Had you completed that exercise? I think you were interrupted by the chair's question, which now we have answered. You can pick it up from there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, commissioners. I will reread this paragraph. On the 22nd of November 2022, the crime scene was reconstructed. Mr. Marius van der Merwe was guiding and pointing out the crime scene to the investigator. Crime scene reconstruction photos were taken by a photographer from Springs Local Criminal Records Center, who compiled an album regarding that. This album is part of the case docket. It was important for me to reconstruct the crime scene because we have primary scene and the secondary scene of the deceased. So for somebody, like in terms of prosecution, they will be having question as to where is this and where is that. So I wanted to put a picture to them to say, you see, this is the house. From the house, they drove so many kilometers to the dam. From the dam, they drove so many kilometers to their third area where they had the debriefing after the commission of the crime. Even for myself, it was going to make sense because I wouldn't be able to say, based on what Marius is alleging to have happened on the day, then it was enough that now we can effect arrest. Yes, after we had now done the reconstruction of the crime scene, then I realized that at least now I can understand Maria's statement. He explains exactly what happened to the scene. And I have the primary photos of the crime scene that was attended by SAPS. Then I'm comparing these photos to Maria's statement, then now it makes sense to me. It will also make sense to the prosecutor for them to make a decision. But still, at that point, I didn't continue with the arrest of the members that were mentioned by Marius, because Marius was the witness that was incriminating himself as well. So I must have other proof to pin these people to the commission of this crime. I had to trace the mentioned suspects in order to obtain their warning statements, which is the warning statement, which is a document used by the investigator when questioning the suspect to ensure that their constitutional rights are protected. It advises the suspect of the charges, their rights to remain silent, their rights to legal representatives. The purpose is to formally record suspects' version of events while understanding that they are not obligated to incriminate themselves. It prevents any unlawful interrogation. After the statement was obtained from Marius, the scene is reconstructed now. Marius mentioned a number of people that he knew. I must trace these people and get their statements. The problem now that I'm having, I'm working for IPID, we investigate police officers. But Marius is mentioning private people now on the commission of this crime. And now I cannot separate and say for SAPS members, because they were on duty, I must get warning statements. For private people, I must arrest them straight. I cannot do that. I must all interview them to obtain their warning statements, to get the version of their side of what transpired on the day, together with the traffic officers as well as SAPS members, so that I can be able to take the docket for the decision. But I sat with my team to discuss this matter after we had reconstructed, going through Maria's statements and the witness statement, even though the witness couldn't be traced as to where he was during that period, but I had hoped that I will be able to find him later. Then,
rather, the reference to the witness you've just mentioned, is that the tenant?
A tenant.
All right.
Yes, Commissioner, a tenant. His statement, that's our, even though he didn't witness the commission of a crime, but that's the sole witness whereby we say he saw the police officers on the day, he saw the owner of the house on the day. After that, the police officers left, the owner was nowhere to be found. So it's now up to the police to answer, to say, where did he went to? Then I said to the team, let's rather arrest Fritz. You remember that Alexandra Fritz visited mother after the funeral. Fritz's car was pinned by the AVL to the scene. Marius is mentioning him in his statement. At least for Fritz, I've got evidence tangible against him. Then I said, let's rather arrest Fritz. We can arrest the rest of them as they are mentioned by Marius, but if maybe the NPA doubt in placing the docket on the court roll, but will fight to place Fritz, at least. We were happy. Then, together with my team, we went to Nigel Court because when it was registered as inquest, it started at Duduza and then it falls under Nigel Court. We went there to discuss with the senior public prosecutor, but our discussion there was just to say we're intending to effect an arrest. Can you go through this to check if we have enough? Then he disagreed and said, no, you cannot, it's too early. We didn't agree with him. We left, we were not happy. He referred us to the chief prosecutor. I spoke telephonically to the chief prosecutor and explained the details of the matter. He also agreed with the SPP to say, no, it's too early. Don't do that. Then I went back to the office and said, okay, it's better, let me refer this case docket to the NPA so that they can give me guidance on the steps now to be taken so that I can be able to have my investigation done so that I can be able to later effect an arrest.
Have you now skipped, or are you done with paragraph 47 of your statement?
I'm there, Commissioner. I'm there, Commissioner.
Okay.
I will read it. After the statement was obtained from Marius and reconstruction of the scene done, I then, together with the team members, approached Senior Public Prosecutor from Nigel Court with intention to discuss possible arrest. The SPP didn't agree with us as he referred us to the Chief Prosecutor. We contacted the Chief Prosecutor telephonically, and he did not agree with the team as well. Thereafter, I drafted the recommendation report to the North Gauteng Division of National Prosecuting Authority, which is NPA, Director of Public Prosecution, for further directives. The case docket was referred to the DPP on the 7th of December 2022. I attached annexure NPM for a copy of this referral.
At that juncture, please open your annexure file. That,
Ms. Silo, especially paragraph 4 and 5, I think it should be read into the record.
that is fine. I just wanted the witness to locate the document. Your NPM 4 is at page 11 of your annexure file. And then you can take questions from Commissioner Kumalo or advice. Please. Thank you, Commissioner.
Are you there, Ms. Masuku?
I'm there, Commissioner.
Yes. That's the memorandum you're referring to on page 11?
On the 7th, yes, Commissioner.
It's dated the 6th. I'm not sure why, but it doesn't matter. And then on page 13, please read paragraph 4 and 5 into the record.
Commissioner, can I get some clarity? I heard the Commissioner saying this memorandum is dated the 6th.
Yes, I'm looking at page 13, bottom of the page, next to your signature and Ms. Nchanga's signature. It says 6 December 2022.
And perhaps to assist, here is where the 7th comes from. First page, it's the receipt stamped by the NPA, yes, dated the 7th of December 2022, yes.
Okay, Commissioner, I compiled it on the 6th,
yes,
and then it was signed off in my office on the 6th, but I delivered the docket on the 7th at NPA, hence on the memorandum, it's dated the 6th, but the date in the front page is the 7th.
Yes.
That's the reason it's got two different dates.
Yes. Yes, Ms. Masuku, and the reason why I need you to read paragraph 4 and 5 into the record is because you will remember the allegation made against IPID is that they frustrated the investigation into the matter and they never took steps to take the matter forward. So I think this memorandum is important because it partly, not fully, partly answers the allegation.
Okay, Commissioner. The Commissioner said I must read
Only 4 and 5 on page 13.
on page 13 of my statement.
Yes.
No,
not
of
the
the annexure
statement.
bundle.
The document where we were, the memorandum.
Oh, of the memorandum.
Your memorandum to the DPP.
Oh, page 13 of my memorandum.
Yes. The heading in para 4 says IPID request from there.
Okay.
Yes.
Based on the, yes, it's point number 4, IPID request. Based on the information contained in the case docket above, it is the request of the IPID that the NPA should, in terms of section 1792 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, make a decision whether or not to institute criminal proceedings against the above-mentioned suspects and to carry out any necessary functions incidental to instituting criminal proceedings. Paragraph 5, conclusion. In terms of Section 7.5 of the IPID Act, The IPID awaits your decision in accordance with your constitutional mandate as per section 1792 of Constitution referred to above to enable the institution IPID to comply with its obligation as provided for section 75 of IPID Act.
And just for the record, in paragraph 2.2 on page 12, your memorandum, maybe you should read it for yourself. Let me not read it for you. Page 12, paragraph 2.2.
Paragraph 2.2 states, the investigation is complete and all necessary statements, technical reports, and expert reports are attached in the dockets for your attention in accordance with your regulation 5.3I of the IPID regulation issued on the 10th of February 2012 under government notice number 3518.
Yes, thank you. I don't know if my co-commissioners have a question on this document. You were dealing with the NPA's response to your memorandum.
It's before she gets to the actual response, this annexure. As Commissioner Kumalo requested you to read the item 4 IPID request, you say that page 13, based on the information contained in the docket above. You see that line?
Yes, I do, Commissioner.
And if we go back to page 12, you have a table there headed case docket content. So these are the documents, if I understand, that you included in the docket handed to the DPP. Is that correct?
That's correct, Commissioners.
It's 23 documents from what I can see. Do you want to highlight some of the documents that were in the docket at the time?
Yes, Commissioners. What I can highlight here, when the case docket was submitted to the DPP in Pretoria, it contained the postmortem, which described how he died and the injuries sustained. It had the AVL, which is the document I was talking about, of Alexandra Fritz, the vehicle that belonged to SAPS he was driving on the day. It had already Marius van der Merwe's statement. It had the witness statement, which was the tenant. It had as well the registers of SAPS register, official registers, whereby it proves that Fritz on the day he was on duty, which car did he use. I have the document called SAP 132B, which is the a logbook of SAP's car. And then I had a document of SAP 15 of the driver of the BMW, which was Alexandra. I also had SAP 15 of other members who were working on the day, which is a list of other members that were working at Brakpan on the day. And the reason I had to have that, it's because of Marius was saying there were police officers from Brakpan, but they were not identified. And it was not easy to identify them on the list because it's just names. You don't know that in between them who was there. Then when I referred to this docket, I had already communicated with the SPP and the chief prosecutor. These are my documents. I was saying I'm having enough that I can effect arrest on my own. Hence, when I'm referring it to the DPP, I am saying still to them to say I have enough. But I know that because they are disagreeing with me, they must give me further directives from what I'm having.
Thank you for that. So then this is submitted to the DPP on the 7th of December 2022.
That's correct, Commissioners.
And then you can take it from there. Thank you.
Ms. Masuku, before you do that, at page 11, which is the first page to your memorandum, and maybe for completeness, you should place on record the classification. You have there the IPIT classification, and then you also have the alleged offense that you were seeking these people to be charged with. And then if you do not have any difficulty about compromising your case, you could also place on record the list of suspects that you have on that page. If that is a problem, I'm happy for you not to list the suspects.
Commissioner,
you have IPIT classification?
Yes. IPIT classification, it's section 28(1)(b) of IPIT Act, which is death as a result of police action.
Okay.
And then the alleged offense is murder.
Okay. And then you have a list of suspects there. If you have any difficulty in mentioning them, I think you should anyway mention the ones that we know are deceased now as part of the suspects.
If I may, the witness deals with the same suspects in the body of her statement,
and she will
as
get
with yesterday regarding Mr. Fritz.
Okay.
She had indicated she doesn't have a difficulty.
Okay.
Just to cross-check, Ms. Masuku, do you have a difficulty in reading out the witness, these suspects as are listed at page 11? If you don't, Commissioner Baloyi is inviting you to please do so.
I will read the suspects list, Commissioners.
All right, thank you.
During the time when we first take it for the NPA decision, the following suspects were mentioned as part of the suspects that must be prosecuted. It was Reservist Constable Z. Fritz, Mr. W. Pretorius, Mr. E. van der Walt, Mr. M. van der Merwe, which is Marius, Mr. J. Mkwanazi, Mr. J. Hanekom, who is now deceased, Mr. Kobas, Ms. K. Listos, who is a Metro officer, Ms. J. Marie Extian, who is an SAPS member, and Mr. A. Mackenzie, who is an EMPD member as well. Mr. J. Mkwanazi as well is an EMPD member. The rest of other mentioned names, it's private people.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. Ms. Masuku, we are now at a point where you have submitted this memorandum to the DPP. If you can pick up your testimony from there, what transpired thereafter?
The DPP advised, amongst the others, that we could not be able to obtain a conviction in circumstances where we're relying solely on the testimony of a single witness, whom himself was a suspect in the murder. The DPP therefore returned the file to us for further investigation.
Do you have it in writing, the DPP's response to your memo?
Commissioners, I was addressing the SC for that to say, before I came for the consultation, I had it. It's just that unfortunately, I asked assistants in the office to make copies for me because I had left the bundle of documents on my desk. So when they were making copies, that particular document is no longer there. That means it's being misplaced. But it doesn't mean that I won't be able to find it. It's just that now I don't have it in my possession.
And if I may, as discussed with Ms. Masuku, after this she will try and locate precisely that document and she will file it with a supplementary statement. It's just that she couldn't obtain it at the time now the statement was due. Thank you.
It may even be sought from the DPP if you can't locate your copy.
Indeed, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. I will do that during break. If she's in the office, she'll be able to send me. Yes. Thank you.
Please proceed.
As a lead investigator on this matter, we had agreed as a team that warning statements from the suspects would be obtained by the rest of the team members, excluding myself. This was because I dealt with Marius van der Merwe's statements. Therefore, I needed someone who would approach the rest of the suspects without the full knowledge of Marius van der Merwe's version. My other role is to exercise overall control, the coordination, and accountability for the investigation, rather than personally perform every investigation task myself. After the docket was taken for decision for the first time, the DPP offered further directives of a list of instructions that must be carried over before we return the docket back. Some of them was to obtain the warning statements from the rest of these mentioned suspects. So I had to start locating these suspects. As I acknowledge, the investigation was dependent on teamwork. Given the security threats and operational risk prevalent in the area, it was both prudent and necessary for investigators to work collaboratively and to allocate tasks amongst team members. Mr. Makakula's involvement thereof reflects the lawful delegation of functions within the team-based investigation conducted under the authority and direction of the lead investigator.
And in that sense, the lead investigator was yourself?
It was myself,
Thank
Commissioners.
you. Please continue.
Following the incident and during our investigation, we managed to obtain statements from the following suspects that were mentioned by Marius van der Merwe. Commissioners, I will mention the name because their names are known already. We obtained the warning statements from Brigadier Julius Mkwanazi, Alexandra Zander Fritz, who was an SAPS reservist at Brakpan, but later resigned. Begogwa Kesibanda, who is a police sergeant at Brakpan Police Station. Juan Marie Exten, based at Flying Squad. Keisha Lee Stolz, who is an MPD constable. Adrian Mackenzie, who's also an MPD constable. And Willem Pretorius, who is a security officer from an unknown company to myself. Etienne van der Walt, who is a security officer. And Cobus van Rensbeck from Coast Guard Security. These statements were obtained in order to get their version of events on the day of incident. All the above warning statements were obtained from different dates, ranging from 2023-02-24 to 2026-01-28. I attach copies of these statements marked NPM 5I to 5IX and a copy of a death certificate of Constable Khosa marked NPM 5X.
If I may then direct you to your annexure file for these annexures NPM 5, Roman 1 to NPM Roman 5. They start at page 14 of your annexure bundle.
Yes, Commissioner, I'm there.
You state that these were obtained over a period starting the 24th of February 2023 to the 28th of January 2026. You state that at your paragraph 51.
And that's correct, Commissioners.
Have you located the annexures in your exhibit bundle, in your annexure bundle? Have you located them?
Yes, yes, Commissioners.
Before we go into these to the extent that is necessary, is there any particular order in which you have filed them in the file?
Yes, Commissioners, they are filed according to the sequence of the dates they were obtained.
With the first being?
With the first being Alexandra Fritz, until the last being Constable Extian.
Okay. So you note at your paragraph 51 that they range from the 24th of February 2023. Are you correct? Because if you say Alexandra Fritz was the first statement and we go to NPM 5, Roman 1, there's a signature there. Well, it's in two parts really. It's the standard form called Statement Regarding Interview with Suspect, and that is dated the 17th of February 2023, that you will find at page 19 and page 20. And attached to that is the actual statement, which is dated the 24th of February 2023 at page 27. So you are relying on the date of the actual statement, not the warning form or whatever it's called that appears at the beginning of that annexure.
Commissioners, on that, I think it should be rectified. I'm relying on the warning statement,
Yes.
the form, because even if it doesn't come back with the exact statement, as long as I have this, I will take it back for decision.
Okay.
So I think the date should be amended to the one for the form, which is the 17th of February, not the one where I got his statement.
We shall make that amendment accordingly. Thank you. So we are now then at page 14. You say Mr. Alexander Fritz was the first suspect you obtained a statement from. And that actual statement starts at page 22. Now, are you able to highlight for the commissioners what further information you were able to obtain from Alexandra Fritz at this juncture on the 23rd of February, on the 24th of February 2023?
The information that I managed to get from the statement of Alexandra Fritz, it was the confirmation to say, yes, he was there in the premises on the day, as well as there was members from Brakpan Police Station, whereby he's mentioning one by the surname, the other one he doesn't mention by the surname. So now it's helping me to say at least I've got another suspect that was not mentioned by Marius, that is now being mentioned by Fritz, that I must trace. even though he doesn't mention to say who was the other police officer, but I knew that if I get this one, then he will be able to tell me as to who was he driving with. I will not be able to divulge more, but what I just wanted to highlight to the commissioners is to say, even though he was there, but he is distancing himself from seeing the deceased on the day in question. He arrived, yes, in the premises, but according to him, he didn't see anyone there. He saw the police officers who were there busy working, as the house was ransacked, according to his statement. The members that he knows, he's these ones that are working with him at his station. And then there were other EMPD members. He is also mentioning that there was another African male that he just give description as to how did he look like. What I can say to the commissioners that even though we have a list of 12 suspects, including the deceased suspects in this matter, but it can happen that after arrest, we can be able to arrest more people that were involved, because I do believe that it was not only these ones. They were more. And after these suspects can be arrested, that is when I will be able to interrogate them based on the information I'm having. But for now, I cannot interrogate them because they are not yet charged.
Thank you. I see, I would like to refer you to a part of that statement with reference to what you read out from the memorandum you sent to the DPP in December 2022, and just to check that it will not compromise your case. So I would like you to consider it and confirm if you can. We can read it out, or you can just confirm by reading it. In this regard, please refer to page 23 of, we are still in Fritz's statement.
Yes, I'm there.
And in particular at paragraph 7. And paragraph 7, he speaks to the detail of the vehicle he was driving on the day. This is after he confirms having been on duty on the 14th of April in the evening. You see that?
Yes, I see that,
Now,
Commissioner.
my question is, are you able then to speak to that aspect with reference to what you have stated and you have set out at in NPM 4, which is your report to the DPP regarding the vehicle you are able to track through the AVL system?
Yeah, yes, Commissioners, that's correct. But Commissioners, if you can excuse me on this paragraph, because I realize there is something that I don't want to read out.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'm happy with that.
Yes.
I'll leave that question. I was quite hesitant too. I don't want to compromise your case. But at least, because the commissioners can see what is at paragraph 7, they have the DPP report. Can you confirm that the information that is at paragraph 7 is the information you had already communicated to the DPP?
That's correct, Commissioners.
Thank you. So, you recall yesterday you testified about your meeting with, I think it's the mother of the deceased.
That's
who
correct.
related a visit by a certain Zander Fritz, who represented himself as a Hawks person or officer. Please have regard, we're still in Fritz's statement, page 26. I think yesterday we made a fleeting reference to it.
And the commissioners?
And I am interested in particular at paragraph 16. You may, you'll decide whether to read it into the record, to read it to yourself and comment to the commissioners insofar as it is relevant to what the deceased mother told you about that particular visit.
Yes, commissioners, I can read this on record, but I won't mention one name that is mentioned there. But I can read the paragraph on record.
Please do then skip those parts that you think is not appropriate to read out.
I got work from this individual mentioned here that Cobus had organized for me shortly after the 14th of April 2022. They gave me a few cases that they wanted me to investigate. And one of the cases were the one that Constable Sibande and myself assisted in Crocodile Street in Salis Village. I went to the address where I met a lady and told her that I'm from Hawk Risk Protection and asked her about the truck that was standing on her premises. She then told me that her husband was found dead in the lake. I left my number with her and said that if she had any information regarding the truck, that she must contact me. I told the company where I had got the work from that I was at the above address with Cobus to see if we could recover anything that was stolen from his client. I also told the person that he got a job from that the lady living there said her husband passed away and that the truck was no longer standing at the premises.
Thank you. Now, this is the 24th of April, 24th of February, 2023. There is more in this warning statement that we did not highlight here at the Commission. I want to establish from you the DPP having returned the docket to you after December 2022. You obtained this statement in February 2023. Was this not sufficient to return the docket to the DPP and say, you now have more information and for a decision, or was it necessary to still do further investigations, and why?
Commissioners, yes. The docket was sent in December and then it was returned, I think, early January 2023 with further instructions. Then I started to follow on those instructions. As this statement, it's one of me noting the instructions from the DPP, but it was not enough of me to say, because now I'm having these statements now, from Alexandra, I must take the docket back again to say they can prosecute. Because already I had enough evidence against Mr. Fritz. This is additional to show that evidence that I'm having, it proves he was there. But for me, because now I'm having these statements to take the docket back again, the docket was going to come back again to me to say, but there are further instructions that you haven't complied to. They are important as well. So for me, it was important to get the rest of other statements from the rest of other suspects that are mentioned here.
Okay. In your statement, now before I say that, we have now looked at Alexander Fritz's statement, which is NPM 5, Roman 1. There are a total of 9 statements in the file.
That's correct.
Beyond here, would you like to make any comments regarding the content of the other statements from the suspects? You had mentioned who these suspects were at your paragraph 51 that you obtained warning statements from.
Okay, what I can mention regarding all the suspects, because at the end, for this duration of the dates I've mentioned to say, it was from the 17th of February 2023, the first statement, until the last statement on the 28th of January 2026. All these statements, yes, they were at the premises, but none of them saw the deceased. They all arrived at the premises, but according to them, the deceased, they didn't have any interaction with the deceased. They didn't see him. That means he was not there when they arrived. And some of them, they didn't even go inside the house. They just ended on the premises. But for me, it's enough as long as they did arrive, because what they want to prove is they were on that premises on the day of incident.
Okay, thank you for that. Looking at your date range then, over which you obtained these statements, I realize that, and with reference to the work of the commission, I realize that the last statement you obtained in 2025 is dated the 27th of October 2025, and that's NPM 5, Roman 8. And that is the statement of Etienne van der Walt, starting at page 107. Do you confirm that?
Okay, I'm getting the, yes, I confirm that, commissioners.
And that date is of interest to me because 27th October 2025, the commission had not heard from witness D, Mr. Marius van der Merwe.
That's correct, commissioners.
In your statement, however, you have, your last statement is 28th January 2026. By then, Mr. van der Merwe had testified on the 5th of December. Whose statements did you obtain after the testimony of Marius van der Merwe before the commission?
It's the last statement of Etienne, as well as the statement of Constable Sibande from, who is a police officer. But you will see that on the warning statement form,
yes,
there is Sibande's form that was obtained during 2023.
Yes.
whereby he has chosen to remain silent. But after Marius came to the commission, then Sibande came forward and said, I'm bringing my statement. Then I took it.
And perhaps for the record, Commissioners, Bekokwake Sibande's statement is NPM 5, Roman 4. It starts with the usual warning form, whatever that document is called, at page 59, 58. And that form, I don't know, Officer Sibande signed on the 16th of May 2023 in Brakpan at page 65. However, it doesn't have a statement. The statement attached from page 73 is now the statement of Officer Sibande, and at page 75, it bears a date stamp of the 1st of December 2025. That was before witness D testified.
Commissioner, that means I must rectify if I say he gave it after.
Okay, yes.
The witness D testified. But I will say he gave it because the case was already a talk everywhere. Even SAPS was now making inquiries as to where is the case docket. So they confronted their members who they know they were involved. Then Sibande, as he was one of them, that is when, after confronting him, then he came back to me and said, I said with the legal side of SAPS, then I was advised to give statement. Then I'm bringing my statement. Then I agree to say you can bring your statement.
Okay.
Ms. Silla, you confused me. I thought you were correct the first time when you said the statement was made after witness D testified.
Yes.
Then you changed to say, no, it could have been earlier.
No, the witness had said she got two statements after witness D had testified, stating Sibande and Extien. So I point out to the witness that actually Officer Sibande's statement is dated the 1st of December, 2025, which is prior to. So that's the correction she just effected. His official consultation or interview was in May 2023, when he refused to give an actual statement. He just completed that form, but did not give a statement. He subsequently gave it on the 1st of December 2025.
And witness D testified in November.
On the 5th of December 2025.
No, it was the minister on the 5th of December. He died on the 5th of December.
That's why.
Yes, that's when you confused.
That's where I'm sorry, I confused the witness. I'm sorry, I had my dates mixed up. You're quite correct, you're quite correct. So the witness is correct from the original version that she got two after the testimony of witness D. It's the date of death. I apologize for the confusion. I realize I have eaten into the tea time for commissioners. I just want to finish off one question, this aspect of her testimony. So it's clarified, and thank you, Commissioner Kumalo, that you obtained two statements after the testimony of witness D.
That's correct, Commissioner.
We have clarified that is Officer Sibande.
Yes.
The only other one then after that period is NPM, according to your file, NPM 5, Roman 9 at page 124. If you could just very briefly deal with that and the date you obtained that statement.
Page again?
124.
124. Yes, I'm there, Commissioners.
So whose statement is this then? And if you could just deal with the date on that statement.
It's statement from Constable John Marie Extian, who is a police officer as well. And it was obtained on the...
I'm at 137. There is a signature there and a date.
On the 28th of January 2026.
28th January 2026. And that would be the last of your statements, because your next annexure that you reference at paragraph 51 is annexure NPM 5, Roman 10, which you state as a copy of the death certificate of Constable Koza. And that is at page 141 for the record. Do you confirm?
That's correct, Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioners. We'll stop this.
Can I just check this, Ms. Masuku? At page 74, this is the statement of Sibande. And this is in relation to a question yesterday about a reservist attending to the scene. You see, in paragraph 2, he explains that he arrived at the scene, or they arrived at the scene, and then formed teams under Constable Fritz's guidance. Is that how it works, that police officers can be under the leadership of a reservist?
No, that's not correct, Commissioner. It doesn't work in that way.
Yes.
You cannot get instruction from a reservist. He's the one who must guide the reservist.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. And then secondly, at page 25, that is the statement of Alexander Fritz that you were looking at earlier, at page 25 in paragraph 12. And line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the bottom.
Okay, Commissioner, I'm still getting the...
Page 25? At paragraph 12.
Yes, Commissioner.
And then that paragraph 12, if you count from the bottom of the paragraph, go to line 5. In fact, you can go to line 6, which starts, we saw the truck standing. Do you see where I'm reading?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, Commissioner.
Okay. Now, in the next line, he says, we saw a black male with a beard and glasses. And then if you read on, he then says in the next sentence, he was apparently from the EMPD, but dressed in civil clothing. Did you establish who the person that he would have been describing here? And I ask because when you look at your list of suspects from the EMPD, the only African name is Mkwanazi, and he's placed outside. Here he seems to speak about a different person. Have you put a name to this other person that is being described here and apparently from the EMPD?
Commissioners, sorry. Yes, I did inquire regarding this, but the only people that can tell me as to who is this man, it's them. That is why I said to the commissioners to say, if the arrest can be effected, possibly there are more suspects that will be arrested, because I will be able to interrogate them based on what they are telling me. So for now, if he says, I don't know him, then I can't do anything for now. I will take that. Then for me to go to EMPD to say I'm looking for somebody who wears dark glasses with a beard, they will tell me that there are about 20. So I won't know who am I looking for. But because he is saying he was from EMPD, I know that I will get him. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Thank you, Chair.
Let's adjourn and resume at 11:30.
Thank you, Chair.
It's 11:29. Let's get started. Your cell phones off, please. Thank you.
Yes, Ms.
Thank you,
Sello.
Chair. Ms. Masuku, we are now at page 14 of your statement. And we had dealt with the warning statements. You have marked NMP 5, Roman 1 to NMP 5, Roman 9, together with the death certificate of Constable Koza, which you've marked NPM 5, Roman 10.
Yes, that's correct, Commissioners.
You then start you have a sub-chapter there. Before you deal with it, Commissioners, at paragraph 52, this is the statement of Brigadier James Konazi that the witness deals with specifically. There is an error at line 1. It's NPM 6, at NPM 5, not NPM 6. If you could just effect that correction. Thank you. Ms. Masuku, you then specifically then deal with the statement of Brigadier Mkwanazi, starting at paragraph 52, at page 14, if you could then deal with that statement.
Commissioners, I will read because Brigadier Mkwanazi was before the commissioners. He testified on this matter. So I will read the version that he gave to me.
Before you do so, may I invite you to the actual annexure NPM 5, Roman 6. You omit to indicate the date on which that statement was taken in your statement. So if you could just place it on record before you deal with its contents. That would start at your annexures, page 76. NPM 5, Roman 6.
Yes, Commissioners, I'm there.
The date I have then there's another correction then to be effected at line 1. The correct annexure is NPM 5, Roman 5, not Roman 6. They both say 6. So it's 5, Roman 5. That statement starts in your annexure bundle at page 76. You've located it.
Yes, I'm there, Commissioners.
And for the purpose of the date on which it was taken, I would like to refer you to page 81. If you could just place that date on record, then you can deal with the contents of the statement, as you do from your paragraph 52.
It was taken on the 24th of May, 2023. And he stated that he was going to give the statement on the 2nd of June.
On the 2nd of June?
Yes, Commissioner.
And the actual statements that he provides as a handwritten is that the handwritten statement at page 91, starting at 91 to 92? Is that the actual statement of
That's the
Brigadier
statement
Mkwanazi?
that he gave. That's correct, Commissioners.
That particular statement at 91 onto 92 is undated. It's signed and seems to bear a number, perhaps his police number. Doesn't have a name, it's just signed.
That's Commissioners, that's his number on the servers, his pay number, they call it like that.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Then let's go back to your statement from paragraph 52, where you deal with the contents of this particular statement.
The statement of Brigadier James Mkwanazi. Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi states in his warning statement, Commissioner, I think it will be corrected as well because it says annexure NP6.
Yes, we have already corrected that.
Okay.
You should read NPM 6, NPM 5, Roman 5. If you could just make those changes then.
Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi states in his warning statement, annexure NPM 5, Roman figure 5, that Roman figure 6, that he was awoken up by Yako at approximately 2 in the morning, asking him to come and see the success of the recovery of the truck in Brakpan area. He stated that he eventually arrived at the scene and saw several vehicles, marked and unmarked, including those of private persons. Yako collected him from the vehicle, where after he showed him the white truck and told him that everything was under control. Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi stated that he told Yako that he was frustrated because they were standing next to about 9 white males. Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi alleged that he then shouted at Yako as he had woken him up and invited him to a crime scene which was not an EMPD operation. Julius claims he then stood outside the gate for a few minutes with intention to leave, but he suspected that the unknown white males inside the yard wanted to move items outside of the truck. Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi further alleges that he then moved towards the next street where he parked. Yako followed him and informed him all was in order. He then left as he was working the next day.
I think that's the end of your actual quotations from Brigadier J. Mkhwanazi's statement.
That's correct, Commissioners.
That's
You-
so.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was saying that's the summary of what you have attached as NPM 5, Roman 5. Is that correct?
That's correct, Commissioners.
You said you did not take the other statements, so that would include Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi's statement. You said you did not take the others because you had taken Mr. van der Merwe's statement. Did I understand you correctly?
Can you rephrase, Commissioner? I'm not getting the question.
I thought you said that these other statements that you've just referred us to, that even before tea, you said you did not take those, your colleagues, or I don't know who took them, but other people took those other statements, not you. Did I understand you correctly?
That's correct, Commissioners,
Yes,
but
yes.
in that, I was meaning, Commissioner, to say I'm not the one who was writing the warning forms,
Yes.
but it doesn't mean that I didn't interview these suspects.
Oh,
Yes. Even on this Julius Mkhwanazi statements, he wrote it himself and just gave us a handwritten statement to say, here is the statement.
Okay. I'm asking because there's this sentence that sounds a bit odd. It says Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi stated that he told Yako that he was frustrated because they were standing next to about 9 white males. I just wanted to understand what was frustrating with that. But why I prefaced this by saying that you had not taken the statement, I prefaced it that way because I thought you would not be able to explain that rather odd statement.
Commissioner, I won't be able to explain maybe what maybe the clarity that you need to get, but maybe in this manner, he says he was frustrated because there was a lot of other officers there or people there. So according to him, why was he called to come there? So when he's saying to those plus minus white males, because Yako was also a white male, so there were a lot of them they were there. But I understand what the commissioner is asking, because it can mean a lot as to why specifically white males. Commissioner, I think...
Ms. Masuku, perhaps it might assist you if you go to the actual statement and locate that part in Brigadier Mkwanazi's statement where he speaks of the 9 white males. His statement starts at page 91 of that annexure bundle.
And the part about the plus minus 9 white males is the very last paragraph at page 91 of his own statement now.
Okay. Have you located
yes,
the statement?
Yes.
And the chair assists you by referring you specifically to the last paragraph of page 91. Can you just quickly read that paragraph as you are able to, because to the extent that it's legible?
Okay. I got frustrated and called him aside because we're standing next to plus minus 9 white males next to the gate. I must mention that I shouted at him for waking me up for other law enforcement operation, which was not EMPD.
Please finish the sentence.
And to tell me everything was sorted. We stood outside the gate for minutes. Then I started to move towards my vehicle, but I suspected that they wanted to take stuff from the truck.
Well, you are almost at the end of the statement. I guess you might as well read the final paragraph there.
I drove towards the next streets where he noticed that I am still there parked. He came with his car and informed me that everything is in order. I then left because I was working the same day.
That's the end of Brigadier Mkwanazi's statement.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you, Chair. Ms. Masuku, you've summarized this statement then from your paragraphs 52 to 54. At 56, you deal with a slightly different issue, and this relates to the delays in obtaining the witness statements. If you could take your testimony from paragraph 56.
The investigation process of obtaining the warning statements experienced a lot of delays. This was because Marius kept on warning the team that his co-suspects are very dangerous people. As an investigator, I had to think of Maria's safety every time we make a move towards other mentioned suspects. Threat analysis assessments were conducted on the team as well. These assessments resulted in protection being offered by the department to those team members engaged in investigation. The members were provided with protection services from March 2023 until 11th of July 2024. Commissioners, I think, omitted to mention when did it started in my statement, only wrote when it was terminated. But the protection has started in March 2023.
You actually do in the next sentence after you introduce NPM 6.
All right. When the service was terminated by Mr. Kiefelakai, a copy of the termination letter attached as Annexure NPM 6.
And for your purposes, NPM 6 is at page 142 of your annexure bundle. If you could open that. (142).
Yes, Commissioner Samde.
Then I suggest you complete the rest of paragraph 56, and then we'll deal with the contents of the annexure itself. Thank you.
We were under protection for a period of 16 months, from 10 March 2023 to 15 July 2024. During this period, we couldn't pursue our investigation as vigorously as we would have preferred. Marius refused to be placed under protection, preferring rather to rely on the services of his own security company.
Going then to page 142, which is actually the termination letter by Mr. Kifelakai of the protection services that had been provided to you from the 10th of March. Are you able to briefly indicate to the commissioners the circumstances that pertained at the time that led to you being placed under protection?
Yes, commissioners. When we started the investigation by now, following on these other suspects, our first warning statement was from the 17th of February 2023. Immediately after we had approached the first suspects that was on the list after Marius, then there were threats that were coming towards us. I will not say to point and say they were coming from them, but they were threats that I had to inform the department to say I was not feeling safe, as well as the team. For a number of things that were happening that were unusual. Then the department ran their own investigation that didn't include us, because it was done, we will be called for interviews every now and then. There will be visits our home, investigators from other departments. But it was done very quickly because the threats were escalating. Then we were protected. We felt a bit at ease, but still, it was not easy because the protection, they were not moving around with us. But we had to continue working. In the meantime, when we're working, I will communicate with Marius because it's not all of us who are communicating with him, avoiding what he has warned us that I cannot mention here when he was giving us statements. Then we have our own way of communicating with him that we had agreed on. He kept on telling us, when we make a move, we won't tell him that now we're making the next move to so and so, we won't notify him, but definitely he will come back to us and say, slow down. Your lives are at risk. Then we will listen to him because he has warned us to say, who are we dealing with? Commissioners, it won't be a period that I will say, if he wants me this week on Thursday and then on Monday I must start afresh. I won't do that. I will wait for a bit to cool down and focus on other matters. Leave this one so that I can get it off everyone's mind. Then when it's quiet, then we will go for the next one. That is the reason these warning statements, they took time. And really, our lives, they were at risk. I won't say it was who on these cases, but what I know is we were having threats towards our lives. Because when I remember, we are in 2026 now. December of 2024,
Please continue. Please continue, Ms. Masuku.
Thank you, Commissioners. December of 2024, my vehicle was short-edged. And I was driving on N17 in Springs area with my family, the kids. I'm not saying it's them, but those are the threats that were coming towards us. So we had to work, take a break, concentrate on something else. The reason I won't say it's only them. I'm saying this because this is not the only sensitive case that I'm dealing with. It's a lot of them. And it's rare whereby there will be a sensitive case like murder against law enforcers. There won't be threat coming to your side because they will know what's coming when you're busy with your investigation. But we soldier on, we continue. It's just that South Africa will never understand what you go through.
Ms. Masuku, if then we could go to an extra NPM 6 at page 142, there is a list of IPID investigators there. Firstly, could you read them out? This is the letter terminating their protection services.
Okay, the members that were involved in this investigation and that were put under protection, it was Mr. Tulani Makakula, Mr. Tulani Dlamini, and Ms. Nomsa Masuku.
And the last one, of course, is yourself.
That's myself, yes.
Earlier, you testified that they were not moving around with you, the security.
That's
what
correct,
you stated.
Commissioners.
And I note from this particular document, this letter from Mr. Kifelakai terminating the services, paragraph 1 reads, this letter serves to inform Bidvest Protea Coin of the termination of the guarding services at the places of residence of IPID investigators currently guarded by the company. You see that?
Yes.
So am I correct to understand that the services were only provided to your respective homes?
Yes, that's correct,
Not as you were carrying out your daily duties?
Yes. It was carried at our home, and it was worth it. Yes, it was.
Okay. You then, let's go to your paragraph 57 and we pick it up from there.
This has been one of the difficult matters to solve for a number of reasons. Firstly, the police involvement had to be proven as unlawful, as there were no official leads at the accounting police station to prove that the officers carried their duties on the day, as alleged by Marius van der Merwe. Secondly, the investigators were under continuous serious threat throughout the course of investigation. I personally am a victim of such threats being carried out.
Can I find out from you, you reference an instance, I think you said it was in December 24, when your vehicle was fired at on the N17 next to Springs. Are there any other noteworthy incidents that you'd like to bring to the Commissioner's attention? If you can't, please don't.
Mr. Law, let's take a break. You'll indicate to us when we should come back.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, it seems we are ready to resume. Please make sure your cell phones are off. Thank you.
Ms. Masuku, are you in a position to continue?
Yes, Commissioner, I am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Ms. Masuku, you may, when you're ready.
Thank you, Commissioners. Apologies for the small.
There is no need to apologize at all.
Hi, Commissioners. What I just wanted to place on record was that we do go under very serious threats on a daily basis when we're doing our investigations. Because we're investigating the law enforcement officers that commit crime and they don't want to be arrested. But that doesn't stop us from doing our duties. We continue to do our duties even though we know that our lives are at risk. As I had indicated to say, my car was once shot at. I was with my kids. It passed. I continued with my duties as normal. But there is a time where my son was also shot. We thank God he didn't pass on, but his life changed from that day because he was wheelchair bound. But thank you to the Lord that he can try to walk now.
This was a second incident.
My son was the first incident,
yes.
And then my car was the second incident.
All right. And just give us the dates of both incidents again, please.
Commissioners, with your permission, maybe if I would be able to give to the SC.
All right. No,
yes,
no.
And not give them.
No,
yeah.
That's in order.
I confirm. I'll receive them and I shall inform the commissioners accordingly. Thank you.
Yes.
Are you able to say whether it was after you had taken over the investigation?
For my car, it was when I was doing this investigation. For my son, it was when I was doing other investigations whereby it was involving a lot of officers in one case. Our office was made aware as well of the threats because those threats, they had come in a form of something was being pre-arranged by the members to get a hitman. Then during their arrangements, somebody in the midst of the arrangements, it's somebody who knew me. Then that person got the opportunity to give me a call to say, I'm not sure if, because I'm not mentioning the name, but by the description they are giving, I think in your department, they are talking about you. And when the last time I saw the news, I saw that you were the one who was busy with a certain case which was in the news, whereby a number of officers you had arrested. We notified the department, and then the department took action on that because as a result, on the day when the department was notified of that, the department managed to say, all of us in our office, we must carry firearms. Then the threats, remember, commissioners, that I'm receiving threats today, but tomorrow I must wake up and go to work. As the threats, those threats were very serious because I knew what was being planned towards me. It's very difficult also to say to my family, to say, this is what I've received, because of now, for them, they will panic. Even if I share it, I find a way of sharing it. I had to do bail application. It was done, it passed until the case was finalized. But in the midst of that, that is when, in between, my son was shot. And the reason I'm pinning it to this, to that matter I'm talking about, it's because of my son during that period. He was the one that was driving me, trying to protect me. When I leave home, he will drive me to work. When I visit the stations, he will be my driver. So they realized to say, there was nothing he was going to do. He doesn't have a gun. But he just said, I will be with you. So I think they realized to say, maybe for me to feel the pain, or maybe because they didn't know if he's got a gun or what, then it was said, if we eliminate him, then I will be left alone. But it didn't stop me from doing my duties. I continued as I'm continuing even today. So I just wanted to relate to the commissioners and South Africa to know, to say, if they see delays like this in the cases that we do, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Every case has got an explanation as to what is the reason you took that delay. We have reason, we at IPT that are investigating law enforcement officers. You, Commissioner, I had in court, because I was scared of the guy, of the members, I don't want to lie, but I had to put a brave face and face them and said to them, I heard what you're planning. Here's my home address. If you need me, come to my house and find me there. And then I left them, but when I left them, I asked myself as to, if they come, what am I going to do?
Thank you, Ms. Masuku, and thank you for your bravery.
Can I just ask, Ms. Masuku, what does the employer, the iPad employer, what does it do when there are situations like these? Firstly, I think we did hear yesterday, and you're repeating that it is a job hazard, firstly, that you would be confronted with these kind of situations. But surely the IPID should have something in place that whose sole purpose, whether it's a policy, but in addition to policy, resources in place which are to provide protection to, and different levels of protection, I accept that, to its investigators. Is there anything? Is there nothing? And what there is, and I would like you to comment to the extent that you are comfortable to comment, whether what you know to be in place is adequate, in your opinion.
Commissioner, what I will comment on is what I was involved in, like the one whereby we were offered protection, but like I explained to say, it was in our residential places. We must leave and go to work. But at least when you are at work, you are at ease to say my family is protected. But what about myself? Commissioner, I won't respond to on behalf of the department as to they take these threats serious up to which level. Because I only tell myself to say maybe it can be taken that serious if it faces somebody that is straight to your family. Yes, I appreciate that we were protected for that period. I appreciate.
As you say, the protection was static, was at your house.
Yes.
And as you were conducting investigations, you were doing that without mobile protection, if that's a correct word.
That's very correct, Commissioners. We do have the security department within the department. Even now, they are in contact with us. I don't know what will come out of it, because before I came here, I said to them, I'm going there to show my face. And then as from Monday next week, I must be on duty. I must work. I must be out working. Which roads of South Africa will I drive and be safe? Because, Commissioners, I'm the one investigating this case. I understand each and every piece of it, inside it. I understand that some of the suspect has passed on. I have an understanding as to what led or what was happening. The case, Commissioners, it's towards the end of it now. Then it will get to a point whereby suspects must be arrested. I must do bail application in court. But after that, where do I go? That's the thing. With who? So, Commissioners, I don't have a response on behalf of the department.
No, thank you. Thank you for your response.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloy, and thank you, Ms. Masuku. We are now at page 15 of your statement.
Yes, Commissioners.
And I think we are moving on to paragraph 58.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe before you do that, Ms.
Yes,
Ella, I had
Commissioner.
wanted to ask to understand something. In this paragraph 57, Ms. Masuku, the sentence that's in the first line, which says, firstly, the police involvement had to be proven as unlawful, as there were no official leads at the accounting police station to prove that the officers carried their duties on the day. That part. What does it mean? I mean, we do have statements from I think it's Sibande. You have that statement from Fritz. So we know from their statements that they did attend to the scene. And from their statements, they claim to have been in their official capacities. Right? If there's no record at the police station, maybe let me ask a first question. The process when police officers get, call it an invitation to attend to a scene or a job, as in this case, in terms of recording, what is the procedure or what is the operating procedure? And if in the end you end up without any official leads that tell you that these people were on duty, what in fact does it mean happened here?
Okay, Commissioners, I will respond relating to this matter. Yes, I do have records that proves that they were on duty on the day. But now I needed to follow allegations of Marius during my interview to say there was a robbery that resulted to the truck that they went to search for the stock. I must go to the station to check if there is a case they were investigating on the day. Because the scene where the deceased stay falls under Brakpan police station, that is where I must start. They didn't have anything that relates to the truck. But we managed to get a case whereby we got a case number from Marius to say this is the case number we were investigating. Upon getting the copies of that docket and interviewing the investigating officer of that docket to say, did you knew of any investigation on your case that was done on this house on this day? Were you informed? Because it's your docket. Then he said no. And that docket was already filed at the storeroom. And when you go through the statement, there is nothing that tells you to say why they landed to that house. Yes. That is the reason, Commissioner, I am saying I had to prove to say the officers, because whenever they go to wherever they go, they are performing official duties if they are on duty. Even if somebody loses their life, but it should be in a process of official duties. So for their involvement there, it should be said because they drove state cars to that house. That means it was officially. So they must give something in black and white to say, this is what we're doing officially. In a process, this is what happened. So they don't have that. So for me, it helps me to prove a point of criminality to say they were doing their own things. It was not about the duties they're supposed to perform. Yes.
Thank you.
In the olden days, Ms. Masuku, police used to carry what was called a pocketbook. Does that still exist? Do you know?
It still exists, commissioners, to some of the members. And then some of the members, they will say, no, it was finished, I don't have it. And then you can't force him to say, give one. And even if he had it, if he knows that something that is written there will put me in trouble, then they will say, no, I lost it. Then there is nothing you can do. Yes. But there should be records like an occurrence book, which is a register. You must get something. Like, I was hoping to get something on occurrence book regarding the incident of that house, to say we went to this house, we searched because we were looking for the truck, we found the truck, and then that's it. So that if they were doing their duties, they were going to make that entry if they were doing their duties. They are doing it because they are saying there was no one they didn't find the owner of the house, all of them. But that means they broke open the house because the house was ransacked, because the owner was not there. So to cover themselves to say we didn't steal anything, they must go back to the station. To say we went to this house searching for this, we found 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the owner was not there. Then nothing was taken at the scene. But they failed to do that entry. And secondly, they were looking for the truck that they find there according to them. They find the truck, it was parked in the yard. I was expecting them to, if it was not drivable, to pull out the truck, take it to the pound, because it's involved in a crime. Then they book it there. But they find the truck there, they left the truck there. So there was no official duties they were performing. They were doing their own thing.
So in short, there is no record of this operation on the sub's records?
No, commissioners. According to them, it was initiated by a private person. Then they took instructions from the private person.
Thank you.
Even the EMPD officers who say they interviewed the tenant and her children. Remember there's one EMPD officer, I won't mention the name, but I saw in the statement. They say while SAPS was busy in the main house, they went in the back rooms or something like that, and there was a tenant with her 2 children, and they interviewed the tenant who told them that the owner is not there. Even those EMPD officers don't have a record of when they were there and what they did when they got there.
No, they don't have any records, Commissioner. What they have is the story they are telling here, but they must give something officially to say, when I was there, this is where I was working, this is how I received this complaint, I had to go there. But their complaint came from a private person. So they took instruction from a private person to go and do the search, of which is not allowed.
Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, Ms. Masuku. We were about to turn to your paragraph 58, and if you could pick up your testimony from there, thank you.
Further, I did not personally attend the primary scene where the deceased was killed. Only SAPS officials had attended the scene. Accordingly, it was necessary to conduct a thorough and methodical investigation prior to effecting any arrest. In addition, we were struggling to locate material witnesses. The original witness, who had been a tenant at the property of Mr. Benze, vacated the premises shortly after the murder, fearing for his and his family's safety, and couldn't be traced. We were only able to trace him with the assistance of the family in October 2025. This fact is confirmed by an email received from the family dated the 26th of January 2026. I attach an email as Annexure NPM 7.
Your NPM 7 that you reference is in the annexure bundle at page 143, if you could turn to that. 143, Commissioner. Are you there, Ms. Masuku?
Yes, I'm there, Commissioner.
Now, at page 143 is an email I see. It's from somebody. It's dated January 26, 2026 at 2:20 p.m. It's addressed to you with a copy to the other investigator in your team.
That's correct, Commissioners.
It has as a subject line, murder case, Brakpan, and in brackets, Madlanga Commission, and then it's got a number attached to it. Do you see that?
I see that, Commissioners.
Is this the email you say at your paragraph 58 you received from the family in October 2025? No, this is the email you say you received on the 26th of January 2025, 26.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Now, it's a very short email. I think it would be helpful if you read it into the record, but please do not read the details of the author of this particular email and their contact details as appear at the bottom of that page. Thank you.
Hi, Sis Nomsa. In light of the media statements released, I would like to clarify the below from the family. 1. At no point did we allude nor state that IPID and investigators did not carry out their duties due to fear or any threats while conducting the investigation. I do confirm that we did inform them that IPID has carried out all that is required on their end, and decision will be on the NPA. In brackets, note, no timelines were given. Point 3, IPID has kept us up to date several times with calls and visits to our residents in Soweto. In Brakpan, IPID's door was open to us at all times. The only thing we were not aware of was details shared on the commission, as we assume these details were confidential to the docket and not public knowledge. Even to us, not to public knowledge, even to us as the family. But we are fully aware and understand that delays occur with an investigation of this magnitude. We are also fully aware that having to locate one of the witnesses who was a tenant at our premises, who had moved and changed numbers, but by God's grace, he visited in 2025, and we could then share the details with the investigators, which IPID later informed me that they have communicated with the witness and had obtained the critical statement from him. That's the end of the email.
Thank you. Now, the statement that it said at item 4 of the email that you obtained after the tenant had contacted, by God's grace, the family, did you obtain such a statement?
That's correct, Commissioners.
At paragraph 58 on page 16 at the top of the page, your last sentence reads, I obtained this witness's statement on 20th October 2025. I attached the statement as NMP, supposed to be NPM, apologies, 7.1. Is that the statement you are referring to?
That's correct, Commissioners.
Your NPM, then 7.1, is in your annexure bundle at page 144. Just to cast your eye on it, to confirm that that is the statement you say you obtained in October 25 from the tenant. It runs to page 147.
That's correct, Commissioners.
So as we understand it, then that is the statement of the tenant who was in the original house during the day that Mr. Mbense lost his life.
That's correct, Commissioners.
We will not deal with its contents. That's a matter for court.
That's correct,
But just to confirm, it's now at hand.
I wanted to ask something.
Yes, yes, Commissioner.
If you go back to page 12, Ms. Masuku,
Of
the annexure bundle. Page 12, remember that memo to the NPA in 2022, December?
That's correct.
The reason I'm taking you back there, if you look at A5 on page 12, so you've got the case docket content, that's your table of contents, and in A5, you've got a person's statement. And I see that it is the same tenant whose statement appears on page 140. It starts on 144. And you say you obtained this one on the 20th of December, 2025.
That's
so
correct,
I'm just
Mrs.
wondering, the statement that formed part of your memorandum to the NPA in 2022, which one was it?
It's the same person, Commissioners.
Yes, but which statement is that one? Was it obtained by you also?
No, it's the one I'm saying the police officers on the 15th,
Yes.
they find the witness. They got the statement.
Oh, they already had his statement
Yes,
on the
but-
15th.
Yes, Commissioner, but it's not in detail.
Okay.
It's just a short version. It's creating a lot of questions that needed to be answered. So we had to re-interview him so that he can answer those questions. Hence, we had to trace him so that we can retake a statement.
Now it makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kumalo. Ms. Masuku, I think we have decided not to unpack the contents of NPM 7.1, the statement itself. We'll leave that for the trial court. Then I think we can move to your paragraph 59.
At the relevant time, we had obtained DNA samples from the crime scene. These were sent to the SAPS Forensic Laboratory, which was able to confirm a complete DNA result. The report of the Forensic Laboratory is attached as Annexure NPM 8. Unfortunately, these results could not be matched to any data within SAPS forensic system. It was retained as a control sample.
If I may then interrupt you there, that NPM 8, yes. Is that your page 148? And you say that is the forensic report obtained from the crime scene.
That's correct, Commissioners.
This document, firstly, is undated, though signed. It doesn't bear a date. But I note at page 148 that it has as a reference Station Duduza CAS 91/04/2022. On my understanding of your evidence, that was the inquest number, the Duduza number.
That's correct, Commissioners.
And at paragraph 3, the author of that report states that on 22/04/2020 at 22:29, I attended an inquest scene at that address for the presence of possible clues and forensic exhibits.
That's
So it
correct.
sounds, my understanding of that document is that the exhibits were collected on the 20th of April 2022, about 5 days after the incident.
That's correct, Commissioners.
And then here, it lists the exhibits that were obtained at the scene. There are 2 of them there. Do you confirm?
I do confirm, Commissioners.
Now, when you say at paragraph 59, you rely on this document, and you say in your last line, unfortunately, these results could not be matched to any data within the SAPS forensic systems. It was retained as a control sample. Are we to understand that having obtained these swabs, they were tested in the normal course, they were compared against information that is already stored on the SAPS forensic system, but unfortunately did not return a result to identify any specific person? Am I understanding you correctly?
That's correct, Commissioners.
And then you say it was retained as a control sample.
That's correct.
What's a
Commissioners.
control sample for those of us perhaps who don't live in that world?
The control sample, Commissioners, it's a sample whereby we'll have to get a secondary sample to compare it to this one, the control one, so that it can help us to say, yes, we found this cigarette butt, we'll take it as a control sample at a scene of death. Then we retain it at DNA. And then later on, if somebody has been arrested that we think he's the suspect, we take his DNA to test it, comparing it to that part that was found there as a control sample. Then if it matches or it doesn't matches, then that is how we get. So that one, those were the samples that were found at the deceased home.
Yes.
So they had to be tasted because there was a thought to say somebody should have touched this. So we can find DNA on this. Then, yes, there was DNA that was found, but it has to be retained up until we get something to compare it with.
Okay. Then you take it up from paragraph 60, if you may. Before you do so.
Must I read the annexure at 148 and 149 to mean that a Red Bull can was, sorry? What, sorry? I'm being advised by my co-commissioners not to mention what
Yes.
this is.
I think what the witness wanted to testify to was that DNA was picked up in 2022.
From a certain object.
Yes, and then it was tested and stored, and we leave it there. So we don't want to go into the detail of the nature or the source of the DNA from the crime scene. Thank you, Chair.
Perhaps I guess we need some guidance beforehand. Because
We've kept away from those parts that we don't want to talk about successfully thus far, and we're almost at the tail end.
Thank you.
So what the witness is then going to talk to next is another forensic report. The witness is going to talk.
Yes, please continue. Please continue.
Then the chair said I should warn the commissioners. After this report, we are going to talk of another forensic report, which once again references DNA. We will just talk briefly to results, and again, we will not, go into detail. So, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Zulu.
Ms. Masuku, I then had invited you to turn to your paragraph 60.
Yes, I'm there, Commissioners.
Yes, you may take it from there.
Following Marius van der Merwe's assassination and considering his testimony before the Commission, the SAPS requested me to engage with the persons we had taken warning statements from, to see if they would be willing to submit their DNA in investigation of murder of Marius for purposes of eliminating them as the suspects. I was able to secure their cooperation. I explained the purpose for which their DNA was sought, and they all attended to the SAPS forensic laboratory. I missed science. I was supposed to say forensic science laboratory for DNA swabs to be obtained.
Yes. May continue.
Following the submission of their respective DNA, I requested that a comparison of their respective DNA to be compared with a control sample of from Mr. Benson's case. A positive result was returned. I attach annexure NPM 9, a copy of this report. I request be kept confidential so as not to undermine the criminal trial.
Your annexure NPM starts at page 150. 150.
Yes, I'm there, Commissioners.
And I note from this report, it's filed by, I guess, the scientists who undertook these investigations, and she states that she's attached to the SAPS biology section of the Forensic Science Laboratory. That is at paragraph 2. You see that?
Yes, I do, Commissioner.
At page 154, that's the signature page. And it is signed by the person whose name appears at page 150. And it's dated at Pretoria, 14 January 2026.
That's correct, Commissioner.
So this is our second forensic report.
That's correct, Commissioners.
And in your statement, you say after the DNA of your suspects and Mr. Benson's case was obtained, you requested that all their DNA be run against your control samples.
That's correct, Commissioners.
And you state here that the results obtained were positive.
That's correct, Commissioners.
And that is contained in annexure NPM 9.
That's correct, Commissioners.
And in particular, I would like to refer you to page 151. Which demonstrates the comparison of what you call control samples and the investigation that was then conducted on the 14th of January 2026, as the report tells us at paragraph 3. And specific individuals are identified, or certain identities or specifications are set out therein. We don't have to read its detail. Is that the positive result that you speak of at your paragraph 61?
That's correct, Commissioners. These are the positive results that came out. As you can see, Commissioners, that in that same document, each and every page, it's got lab number, but it entails different lab numbers. and it's got 2 different case numbers as well. So it explains to say the case number below, it's Marius's death case number. The case number up, it's Mr. Mpense's case number. So all those DNA, including Marius's DNA, was also taken from the mortuary. All those DNA were run against the control sample, whereby we did manage to get the positive results.
And on that score, if I may draw your attention to page 152, same report. And if one has regard to paragraph 5.1, in the second line, that references Duduza case 91/04/2022, that's Mr. Mbenze's murder case, correct?
That's correct.
And thereafter at 5.2, it then references Brakpan case 75/12/2025, that's Mr. Van der Merwe's assassination.
That's correct.
And the rest of the document from 5.2 to 5.6 is specifically then regarding Mr. Marius's assassination.
That's
or
correct,
murder.
Commissioners.
So it deals with both cases, but it separates them at page 152 to get, and sets out the results arising from the investigations in respect of both cases. Am I understanding the document correctly?
That's correct, Commissioners.
Then we are back in your statement from paragraph 62.
Investigations were necessary to be carried over prior to making arrest in order to ensure compliance with the provisions of Criminal Procedure Act 51 of 1977 and to secure prospects of successful prosecution. The Independent Police Investigative Directorate's standard operation procedures expressly direct that arrests are not affected for the purpose of conducting the investigation. Arrests are effected once proper and thorough investigation has been concluded, and where sufficient admissible evidence exists to establish a reasonable suspicion based on the objective facts that suspects have committed offense as contemplated in Section 40 of the Criminal Procedure Act. Any arrest effected in compliance with these requirements is neither premature nor unlawful, but is procedurally and substantively justified. Arresting suspects prior to the completion of the investigative steps would have been premature, resulting in persistent postponements of the trial pending completion of criminal investigation, and would in any event be inconsistent with the requirements of the Criminal Procedure Act. On the above statement, Commissioners, I am trying to express that should we have effected arrest before the investigation was completed, let's say we arrested them in 2022, now we are in 2026. Our case, maybe we were going to be having 30% to say 30% we do have a strong case, but 70% we don't have a strong case. So to avoid that, it's for us to conduct a thorough investigation, because we know that all these people, they are here. Unfortunately, some of them died. As now, we had 12, then 4 died, including the recent one, Mr. Pretorius. So now we are left with 8. And all of them, they die as a result of shooting. So it was worth it. I know that there will be questions to say, but it was worth it, but others have died. Unfortunately, we couldn't control that, but it was worth it to investigate it fully, because if now we make arrests, our case docket is ready for trial. So if they go to court, the trial dates will be set very soon, and we are sure that we'll be getting conviction on this matter because it has been thoroughly investigated. So we avoided the prematurely arrest to be done because it was end up putting us in a lot of pressure whereby we were going to even overlook some of the facts because we are being pushed by the time. That's what I'm trying to explain on this paragraph to the commissioners. I understand that there was a delay, and I acknowledge that. But that delay, it was not purposely to say, I just closed the file and put it there. I didn't do that. The investigation was continuing, even though it had to stop and go, but at the end, the investigation has been now finalized. Then anytime there will be the next step that will be done.
Thank you, Ms. Masuku, for that clarification. Staying then at your page 17, you have a small heading there, the status of the matter, and you deal with that from paragraph 63. If you could then deal with the contents of 63 and following as regards the status of this matter.
The status of the matter. Following the conclusion of the investigations, and on the 4th of February 2026, I prepared and forwarded 3 reports as required by the law, attaching the complete docket, each report, to the following institutions. A formal IPID report to the DPP recommending the institution of criminal proceedings against 12 suspects identified on page 1 of the report is attached NPM 10, a copy of this report.
If you may then turn to your annexure bundle, your NPM 10 starts at page 155.
Okay, I'm there, Commissioners.
I see it's the DPP memorandum addressed to the Director of Public Prosecutions. And at the last page of that document, at page 159, it's dated by yourself and your provincial head, and both of you signed and dated it the 4th of February 2026. Is that correct?
That's correct, Commissioners.
Going back then to page 155, I see that it bears an acknowledgement of receipt stamp by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions of the 4th of February 2026.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Now, once again, you recall when we read the first 2022 referral.
That's correct.
Commissioner Kumalo requested you to read the subject line. And do you confirm it's still the same, which is IPID investigation case docket for DPP consideration and decision?
That's correct, Commissioners.
And in terms of the IPID classification, once again, you reference section 28, 1B of the IPID Act, and it remains death as a result of police action, and the alleged offense you reflect as murder.
That's correct, Commissioners.
I'll come back to that page, and going back then to page 158. As with the previous 2022 report to the DPP, you have the IPID request and the conclusion at page 158.
That's correct.
My reading is that once again, under the request, item 4, you note that it is the request of the IPID that the NPA should, in terms of section 179 sub 2 of the Constitution, make a decision whether or not to institute criminal proceedings against the above mentioned suspects and to carry out any necessary functions incidental to instituting criminal proceedings.
That's correct, sir.
So, once again, now, February 2026, you have significantly updated your docket, as we have it, and you submit to the DPP requesting a decision and as regards the institution of criminal proceedings against the suspects.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Now, I compared page 155, the front page, with the list of suspects you had in 2022. And notably, I see new names on that list. And I think your second suspect, your third, yes, I think my comparison was you have 2 new suspects on that. If you could read out their names, you recall that your original report to the DPP is at page 11 of 2022. It starts at page 11, the
Yes,
2022 memorandum.
I've
And
got it.
on my count, there you have 10 suspects.
Yes, Commissioners, I had 10.
And then on your 2026 report at page 155, there are now 12 suspects. I see 2 new additional names at page 155. Who are they and how did they come to be added to the list? Thank you.
Okay, the 2 added suspects are Sergeant B.W. Sibande and Constable M.R. Koza. Those are the 2 suspects that when we took it in December 2022 for the decision, they were not yet identified.
Yes.
But now they were identified even though Koza is deceased.
And that is the Constable Koza, in respect of whom you have filed a, what's the document called? Death certificate, annexed as NPM 5 Roman 10.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Now, I see as well here, you have included, as you say, Constable Koza, you say since deceased, you have included Mr. van der Merwe, and that is Marius van der Merwe and Mr. J. Hanekom. You were aware, as at the date of this report, that they are deceased, weren't you?
That's correct, Commissioners. I was
Why,
aware.
why are they still included on the list of suspects?
Commissioners, it's not for me to say because of now they are deceased, I must exclude their names. Because in the whole case docket, their names are always there. Even though I know that they will never be charged because they are no more, but I must include their names as part of my suspects, even though they are deceased.
Okay. Then that deals with your memorandum then to the DPP.
Can I just
Yes,
ask the
yes,
question?
Commissioner.
The death certificate of Constable Koza says he died from unnatural causes. Do you know anything about the circumstances of his death?
Yes, Commissioners. He was shot at his residential place. Yes. Yes, he was shot, Commissioners, and because it's an SAPS investigated docket, because it's his murder, even though I do have the details of the docket, but if the Commissioners will allow me not to mention the details as to how was he shot.
That's fine, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
And on that score, to confirm, the death certificate is annexure NPM 5 Roman 10 at page 141. And it records the date of death as the 17th of October, 2025.
That's correct, Commissioners.
And to confirm, I think you earlier testified that you never had opportunity to obtain a statement from Constable Koza. It's not part of your warning statements that you have submitted and form part of the docket, is it?
That's correct, Commissioners. We're supposed to get his statement on the, I think on the 21st of October.
Yes.
We're supposed to obtain a statement, and then on arrival at the station, for him to make a statement, that is when we're informed that he died, I think on a Friday of that following the Monday we're supposed to meet up with him.
Okay. Thank you. Then you may pick it up from your paragraph 63.2 at page 17.
Okay. I filed a negative report with the Office of Eguruleni City Manager against 3 EMPD members. Brigadier Mkonazi, Constables Mackenzie and Stolz, as per item 2 of the report, and in direction the institution to institute disciplinary proceedings against them. A copy of this report is attached as Annexure NPM 11.
And that Annexure NPM 11 appears, Ms. Masuku, in your Annexure bundle from page 160.
Yes, Commissioners.
It is addressed, the heading is EMPD Memorandum. It's addressed to the Office of the City Manager, Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Department. For the rest of page 1, it looks same as for the memorandum for the DPP. It lists all the suspects, gives the full details of the case. And if you turn over to page 161, under item 2, you have a heading there, case docket contents. And in paragraph 2 of item 2, it reads, in terms of section 30 of the IPID Act, number 1 of 2011, read with the South African Local Government Bargaining Council Circular number 1 of 2018, you are hereby directed to initiate disciplinary hearing against, and then you list 3 members there. Brigadier J.D. Mkwanazi, you have a number, service number. Constable A. Mackenzie, you have a service number, and Constable Kaylee Stoltz.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Now, this report, as with the previous, is